What's up? Welcome to a special NBA playoffs podcast. I'm joined by the greatest point guard in Australian basketball history, Shane Hill. What's happening, Shane?
Hey, mate, just getting excited about these NBA playoffs. Looking forward to it.
Yeah?
Bring it on. Too long.
All right, Shane, do you want to go east or west first?
Let's go west.
West, all right. Lakers and Portland.
Portland's going to be ready because they've had tough games. But I think the Lakers are going to be rested, and this is the time that LeBron brings the hammer in this first game to try and make a statement, I reckon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that series, you think Lakers win in how many games, would you say?
I think Portland will get one.
One?
But I think, I don't think they'll get more than one. And
Yeah.
what do you think?
I reckon too. You saw the bracket I sent you.
I mean, Dame's that good.
Yeah.
That, he can go for 50 and something good can happen. And like you said, they've got a couple of good defenders missing for LA. I think that the first game's going to go over. I think, the scoring's just been high. And I think LA are going to get out and run and try and put some points on the board as well. I think that total is at 229.5.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that's going to go over.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that. LeBron will get a lot of fouls.
Yeah, he's going to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Davis is going to be ready. They'll be ready.
All right. So Shane, you've got Lakers in 5.
Yep.
Yeah. The Lakers brought in J.R. Smith, who averaged just 2.8 points in 6 games. And he went 1 for 11 from deep. So 9.1%.
Well, I thought it was a poor move to bring him and Waiters in together because I think they're the same sort of player. I think they needed to bring in, with the fact that Rondo was out, I would love to have seen them bring in another point guard that can create and break the lines of the defense and make things happen and play some defense. Something that's a little bit different than, say, LeBron when he's handling the ball, Caruso when he's handling the ball. I thought they needed something different than those two guys in one. I love Dame. He's unbelievable what he can do. But, mate, that's not happening. LeBron's not allowing that to happen. Unless he got injured and missed the series, that's not happening.
Yeah.
He just will over the line. And he's going to be fresh and that. He's just, they've been able to play enough games to get themselves right. Now's the time for some of these teams, I think, to be able to step up. Whereas Portland's had to, play balls out just to be able to make it to the playoffs. That was their goal, was to be able to make it there. Now the Lakers are getting serious and it's time for them to go to work.
Yeah. All right, cool. So Shane's got Lakers in 5, but we both say Lakers are going to win. I'm hoping Portland causes an upset, but probably won't happen. All right, so next is the Clippers and Dallas. So Clippers are 5-3 in the bubble. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard each averaged 25 points per game and shot 48% from 3. So they were 2 of only 3 players to do that in the bubble. The third player to do that was, can you guess? Who do you think would have averaged 25 points per game and shot 48%?
That was Dame, was it?
Nah, close. TJ Warren.
Yeah, of course.
Dame shot 42%, I think. Low 40s.
The Clippers have had it over Dallas, won their last 3 games and convincingly as well.
Yeah.
And I think the Clippers are a little bit the same as what I was saying about the Lakers, is they're just getting their way through. And, Kawhi, even though with the stats that you put up, you could tell he wasn't in rhythm with a lot of his moves. There were times that he was overthinking it, and when he should have shot it, he tried to drive it and things like that. So he's just blowing out some cobwebs at the moment. He's going to be better for the playoffs. But again, just like I said about the last series, I think this is going to be another high-scoring series as well. Dallas obviously give up a fair few points, and I think Clippers are pretty keen to be able to put some points on the board.
Yeah. Do you think Doncic and KP, so they're making their playoff debuts, do you think they'll win a game? Or will they
they could sneak one.
Yeah.
could sneak on just on the back that, I mean, Doncic is just unbelievable, isn't he? What he can do. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. He's a freak. I think the Clippers in the longer term really need Beverly. So to be able to just harass somebody like Doncic as well. I think Harold too. I think they're saying he's probable for Monday.
Yeah.
He's really important, but he's going to take a little while to get his game legs into it as well, of not really playing a game so far. So that's going to take some time for them, I think.
Yeah. He's a beast though. I reckon he just needs one game and he'll be back in form.
Well, the good thing that he brings is just that energy off the bench of, points, rebounds, blocks, and just that energy and hustle. So you're right. I mean, he doesn't do it by finesse. It's just, how his game legs are. So he's going to be better for the second series than he will for this series, but he'll certainly add to them as well.
Yeah. All right, cool. So Shane's got Clippers in 5. I agree. Yeah, in my bracket, I had the same. I reckon, they'll probably win game 4, avoid getting swept. Denver, so third place, Denver versus 6th place, Utah. Denver swept Utah in the regular season 4-0, and they most recently played on August 8. It was a double overtime win for Denver, 134-132. And interestingly, so Mike Conley has left the bubble for his son's birth. So he won't be there for game 1. And yeah, what did you say before, Shane? Probably won't be there.
He won't get to play another game then, because if he's got a quarantine, this series is going to be over, I think. I mean, it's probably going to be the closest of, the West, but I can't see Jazz winning this series. They've been disappointing, really. They look like they've got a lot of really good pieces, but for whatever reason, they just can't put it together to be able to make it work and beat sort of quality teams, I reckon, consistently.
Yeah. So what do you reckon? Denver in, will it be a sweep?
No, I'll say 6.
What's that?
6.
Yeah, in 6?
Yeah.
So
I reckon you can get a couple. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. I've got Denver in 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give him an extra one. I think it's a bit closer than that, but Denver still win.
Yeah. Okay, so the last series in the West, OKC versus Houston. Westbrook playing his former team, but he's out for game 1, at least, with a right quad injury. Houston went 4-4 in the bubble, as did OKC. Dennis Schroeder's back for OKC. He played against the Clippers. Steven Adams, he's injury prone, so he's not 100%.
Yeah, I think he came back for the last game or two. He got some minutes into him, but he's a big piece for them. I'm going OKC to win this first game until I know what Westbrook's doing. I don't like Houston. I hate betting for them. I hate betting against them. But I think OKC are a little bit more consistent. As we've spoken about before, they can't afford to lose Chris Paul or, one of these key players. They don't have a lot of depth, but they play a pretty controlled game. I think this is going to be pretty low scoring, this series. I think OKC like to sort of slow it down and play the percentages as well. They can play at different paces, but I think this will be one of the lower scoring series.
Yep. So what's your pick? Who do you think's going to win? And in how many games?
I'm going to go 4-3 for OKC in an upset.
4-3 OKC. All right.
But that could be just because I hate Houston as well.
Yeah. So you're a bit biased.
Maybe. I'm scarred.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the games Houston wins, they'll probably be blowouts.
They could.
Yeah. Because I reckon, for that, just if James Harden is ever set for less than 34 points or less than 36 points, if his play performance is 36.5, 35.5, 34.5, just take the overs because that dude's going to get his points. Yeah, I hate betting on the line in games involving Houston as well. I've got them winning in 6. So
Okay.
that's my pick. Even though I want OKC to win, I don't like Westbrook. Harden's good. He's won money for me. But yeah, I just think OKC, Steven Adams, he's injury prone. Chris Paul, yeah, he might push himself too hard because he'll have that ego battle with Westbrook. And he might push himself too hard, and being 35 now, yeah, he could get injured. So based on that, I'm picking Houston in 6.
Well, I'm going the upset 4-3 for OKC.
I hope you're right on that. All right, so cool. That's the West. East. All right. So the number 1 seed, Milwaukee Bucks, against the number 8 Orlando Magic. Milwaukee's got the man, Giannis Antetokounmpo, soon to be 2-time MVP. I'm going to cash in on my bets on that. Their defense, however, since the restart, it's 8th. So they're giving up 110.2 points per game. But in the regular season, they swept Orlando, and Orlando's not playing is without Jonathan Isaac with a torn ACL. So that dude, he's a 6'11" forward. He was meant to slow down Giannis, but yeah, he won't be involved. And Orlando was 3-5 in the bubble. Yeah, who do you like there?
Milwaukee are going to smash them. There's no way that Orlando win a game in this series. I wouldn't have thought.
I agree. That's an easy one. Yeah. Milwaukee sweep. 4-0.
No doubt.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2, Toronto, and number 7, Brooklyn. So Toronto was one of the best teams in the bubble. They went 7-1. They also have the best defense in the restart at giving up 101.8 points per game. But they lead all teams in turnovers at 18.7 per game.
Yep. I think that comes too, though, because they're a sort of team that they like to be able to pass the ball. They're pretty unselfish, I reckon, Toronto. So they want to drive and dish, make the extra passes, whereas a lot of teams will want to go make those plays themselves. So there's less chance to have turnovers. So I think they're on the right track. I love the way Nick Nurse coaches. I love the balance of Toronto. I think they've got every position covered. I love the fact that they play hard and play with a whole lot of passion. They just love the game. So I'm a big fan. And I think for the fact that the Nets have actually overachieved, they won't go into this game, Toronto, disrespecting the Nets like people did in the bubble. So I think that I think they'll sweep this series.
Yeah?
Yep.
Sweep. All right. I've got Toronto winning 1 game.
Nets winning 1 game.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Nets winning 1 game. So Toronto win 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that could happen. But no, I think it's more likely that Toronto just sweep, get a little bit more rest after the 4 games as well. I think that's the motivation in the bubble as well.
Yeah.
So
moving to number 3, Boston, and number 6, Philly. So Boston went 5-3 in the bubble. Yes, and Philly went 4-4 in the bubble. So during the regular season, Philly actually won that season series 3-1. And yeah, but the big news is Ben Simmons is out for the season, and Joel Embiid's health isn't 100%.
Plus, he's a sook. I mean, if there's, you have a look around the league and you have a look at the best players, in the world, and they're superstars that love the game. They're passionate. they're into it. And then you see Embiid. And he just looks like he's sooking the whole time. He's not happy about this. He's not happy about that. He's complaining with the refs. Like, they're just the culture of that team. Imagine barracking for that team and going through tanking for as long as they did to accumulate the sort of talent that they were able to put together and then be left with this team. Compared to, say, Miami or Toronto and, these teams that have just gone for it and been able to, circulate some teams that play together and play a great style. I just don't like Philly. I think that Boston are gearing up well. I think they've just managed Walker's minutes really well, giving him time. I love the fact that they've got a great defensive perimeter team. We saw what they did Toronto. You and I were sitting there watching that game because we both like Toronto. But they just shut out their wings, with Brown and Tatum and Smart. And these guys, Hayward, these mobile wing guys that can shoot it and play D as well. I just think they're going to be too good and they're gearing up.
So what's your pick? Do you think how many games?
Philly will make one probably.
Yeah?
They'll be lucky in one game.
So Boston in 5?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got the same. Boston in 5. All right. Number 4, Indiana, and number 5, Miami. So this one's going to be probably the most competitive in all of the East, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, this really will be. I'm a Miami fan. I like Miami, even though you understand they probably don't have the same talent as some of the other teams. I think they're really well coached. They shoot the 3-ball well, play a really good style. Jimmy Butler's tough. I like Dragic coming off the bench and being able to do what he does. Is Nunn back in for that game?
For game 1?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I haven't.
Yeah, no, he's not questionable. So, yeah, he's back in. He'll be important for them. And I think in the bigger picture, they've been able to play without Sabonis, but I think he was a really big piece of that team as well. So I think they're going to miss him. I think Miami win it, but I'm going for them 4-3.
You're going for Miami or Indiana 4-3?
Miami.
Miami 4-3?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got... I've got 4-1. Wait, yeah. That's a mistake. I've got Miami in 6. Okay. I don't like Indiana. I like Malcolm Brogdon, but that's about it.
They play hard. I mean, if Miami go through a few games where they're not hitting their 3-ball, then but I can see that those games being pretty low scoring too.
Yeah,
can see it being a little bit of a slog.
Miami was second in turnovers, 20.9 per game.
Yep, that's interesting.
Yeah,
during the season, the last 3 games, Miami won 2-1, but the scoring was 109 to 103 during the season. So I think that scoring is going to be pretty low in that series. That's what I'd be looking at.
Yeah.
And close games. I think most of those games are going to be pretty close. I don't think either team's really going to be blowing them out.
Yeah. So take the plus in all those games.
Yeah, or if you're someone that likes the margins, then and you like a team at the margin, you're going to get pretty good odds. So obviously less percentages, but better odds.
Yeah. All right, that's everything. Yeah. So that's the first round series with Australia's greatest ever point guard, Shane Hill. For all you young kids who might say Ben Simmons is the best point guard, go to YouTube and type Shane Hill drops 28 points on Dream Team 3. So Shane went 8 for 12 from deep. Ben Simmons has 2 made threes in his 3-year NBA career. So you had 4 times more threes than that cunt's had in his whole fucking NBA career. So yeah, all you young kids, do your research. And yeah, I reckon all these are going to win. Time to get our bets on, Shane. Upload.
Well, let's we'll reconvene, mate, and see how we went on the series selections.
Yeah.